Let me ask you about some things that happened with the Comptroller's office this year. Let me run right to some of the issues that you had to deal with. It was a busy year, a number of things you had to deal with. It's now 6 months since the revelation of the so-called data breach in the Comptroller's office. 3.5 million state employees and retirees had their information, was found that their information was available on the website of the Comptroller's office for a period of time. Do we now know, 6 months later, 6 months has passed, do we know what happened? Do we know why it happened?
I will state two things unequivocally.
Yeah.
The way it happened has been fixed, can't happen again, and secondly, based on all of the investigation that we have done with the Attorney General's office, etc., we cannot find anyone whose information was misused.
Those are both important points, and I'll come back to those, but I want to come back to the question I asked, which is, do we know why it happened?
Yes, and I'm not going to tell you why.
Can I ask you why you're not going to tell me?
Because it relates to security. It relates to security matters within the Comptroller's office related to data.
Right. And you don't believe that the public, many people in the public, as I understand by one estimate, 1 of 5 adults in Texas potentially had their information exposed. They don't have a right to know why their information originally was exposed?
There was a failure by an individual to do the right thing.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
Somebody in the Comptroller's office?
Absolutely.
Right.
The process
is that person no longer working at the Comptroller's office?
That is correct.
Right. And you say that you have checks in place right now to make certain that it doesn't happen again. Can you share with us a little bit about what those are? Under
the Open Records Act, I am not going to tell you matters related to how we take care of the security of the data. Ed, I'm not going to tell you. I will assure you that we are doing every single thing that experts tell us will secure the data.
Right. With due respect, Comptroller, your answer is take my word for it?
No, well, why don't you do this?
Yeah.
Watch.
And so if there's no data breach going forward, then that means that everything is okay?
It is, let me just say also, it is extremely painful to those 3.5 million people.
Right.
I know it is painful.
You don't begrudge them feeling aggrieved over this?
Absolutely not.
Right.
And I will also tell you there have been other data exposures in the state since then that you've not heard about, not at my office.
In other agencies?
In other agencies and other public entities that you've not heard about.
Yeah.
And we took care of it. We got experts in. We are doing everything they tell us to do. The way it happened cannot happen again.
Right.
Cannot happen again. And as I say, based on every investigation, every expert, no one's information has been misused.
Right, so that was the second point you made, which is that you have found no evidence of anybody's Social Security numbers or personal information being used for bad ends.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's other information I cannot share with how I know that. But
so you can't tell us how you know it, but you know it.
It relates to the processes that states use to secure their information, and we believe it is secure.